Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever driven past one of those giant factories and just wondered what is going on in there? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and peek inside. We're going to uncover the secret life of a smart factory, all the way from a tiny idea to the awesome cars that roll out the door. So let's start at the very beginning. How does something as huge and complicated as a car factory even happen? I mean, these places can build thousands of cars every single day. It's a way bigger story than you might think. You know, believe it or not, it's kind of like building with Legos. Seriously, you have a big idea, you get all your pieces together, you follow the instructions, and you build it step by step. The only difference is, instead of your hands, you're using giant cranes and super smart robots. Okay, so every single factory starts out the same way. Not with bricks or steel, but with a single bright idea. So let's follow that idea and see how it grows into a massive car-building giant. The whole birth story really happens in 4 big steps. First up, you have the big idea. This is where people decide, hey, let's build a new electric car and figure out the best place to build the factory. Next, and this is super important, they create the digital blueprint. Think of it like a super detailed instruction book on a computer, a 3D model of every single nut and bolt. After that, it's time for the big build, where construction crews take that digital plan and make it real. And finally, the first test drive, where engineers run every robot and conveyor belt to make sure it all works together like a perfectly tuned orchestra. All right, the factory is built, the lights are on, and everything's ready to go. Now it's time for its big job, making cars. But as you can imagine, running a place this huge is a huge challenge. And sometimes things go wrong. Just imagine you're the factory manager. Everything's running smoothly, and then clink. A super important robot arm just breaks. The whole production line just stops. No cars are being made, which is a really, really big problem. Yeah, dealing with stuff like that is super stressful. But what if you had a secret weapon? What if you could have a practice factory, a perfect copy where you could try things out and catch problems before they happen in the real world? Well, that's exactly what a digital twin is. It's a perfect, living copy of the real factory that exists inside a computer. Now remember that digital blueprint from before? That was just the instruction manual. A digital twin is like a live-action video game of your factory. It's moving, it's working in real time, and you can play around with it to see what happens. And this is why having a video game twin is such a game changer. See, in the real factory, if a machine breaks, it's a disaster. But in the digital twin, you can break things on purpose just to see what would happen. There's no risk. Want to know if a new, faster robot would work? Just try it in the game first. You can find and solve problems in this virtual world long before they ever stop the assembly line in the real one. So having this digital twin is amazing, but modern factories have another cool trick for keeping the real machines running perfectly. It's kind of like giving the whole factory a super smart health checkup. Not that long ago, the only plan was, well, there was no plan. People would just use a machine until it broke down, and then they'd rush to fix it. As you can guess, that meant a lot of surprise shutdowns. Not a great way to run things, right? Oops. So then we got a little smarter. Factories started doing regular checkups. You know, like, okay, on the 1st of every month, we'll check this machine. That was definitely better. But you might end up fixing things that weren't even broken. Or even worse, a part could break the day after its checkup. But now we have the smartest way of all. By putting tiny sensors on all the machines and using some really powerful AI, the machines can actually tell us when they start to feel sick, long before they actually break. It's almost like the machine can raise its hand and say, "Excuse me, I think I'm going to need a new gear next week." How cool is that? So how well does this new super smart approach actually work? Well, this number right here, it tells the whole story. That's right. In some of the world's most advanced factories, they can predict and fix 89% of all problems before they even happen. That is huge. It means fewer delays, it means the factory is safer for workers, and it means better, more reliable cars for all of us. So, factories are already really, really smart. But what's next? Well, the factory of tomorrow is going to be even more incredible. It's going to look less like a factory we know today and more like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Get ready because the future is awesome. We're talking about robots that can figure out what's wrong with themselves and then just fix themselves. We're talking about factories that notice they're running low on a part and automatically order more. Imagine engineers using giant 3D printers to make a new tool right there on the factory floor.
And AI won't just be running the factory, it'll be helping to design the next generation of super cool cars.
So, from a simple idea that's kind of like a Lego project, to a giant building that has its own video game twin, all the way to a future where factories can almost think for themselves, it's pretty incredible. These smart factories are literally building our future. And that kind of makes you wonder, right? With all this amazing technology out there, what will you build?